Hello, welcome once again to another episode, another day, another data breach. Today, let me take you through the recent vulnerability that has taken the internet by storm, which is an Oracle CVE data vulnerability, which was announced in the beginning of October 2025. And as of to date, it has affected many organizations like the Harvard University, and as of the recent past few days, the breach that happened at the Wits University in South Africa. Around the 6th up to the 9th of October 2025, Oracle announced that there is a security alert which is trying to address the vulnerability called CVE 2025-61882, which exists in Oracle EBS Suite. Oracle says this vulnerability is remotely exploitable without authentication, and this may be exploited over the network without the need of a username and password. So what then happens is on the Oracle website, Oracle announced that this suite is this vulnerability exists in Oracle eBusiness Suite, which is version 12.2.3 and 12.2.14. Oracle insists that there is a patch to this, but according to this, you would find the indicators of compromise for this vulnerability. There is an existence of the IP addresses that in 200, 107, 207, 126, and IP address 185, 181, 6011, of which by now the attackers, they already know that they have been identified, and the chances are they have changed these IP addresses to new IP addresses. Hence, we see the propagation of the same vulnerability being identified at Harvard University and of late the Wits University in South Africa. So if you are running Oracle eBusiness Suite, this is the table of indicators of compromise. You might not get much traction with the IP addresses because the chances are the hackers have changed the IP addresses. But if you are running a SIM in the SOC, you might be looking for commands like the sh-c /bin/bash, which looks like a reverse TCP shell that is initiated. So in your SOC analysis, you might be looking for commands that are trying to create a reverse shell or any of some of these, which looks like encryption keys that could be used by the attacker to try and exploit your existing infrastructure. So from this article, you can see that Oracle states that there is a high chance that there will be an authenticated remote exploitation if you are running Oracle eBusiness Suite, or there might be a remote code execution, which you can see from the commands that can be run from by the attacker there. And there is widespread impact on the eBusiness Suite. And Oracle Business Suite is a widely used enterprise resource planning system. So anyone who is using Oracle Enterprise Business Suite stands at a high risk. And right now, I think Oracle says they have deployed patches, but I think there's still high dependence on prior patches, some which are dated at 2023. And there's also a potential of zero-day exploitation, which is what we are seeing with recent breaches at Harvard and Wits University. And let's just take the quick lessons learned from the Oracle eBusiness Suite breach. This calls for prompt patch management, which is very paramount. The immediate and diligent application of security patches and alerts is non-negotiable. Delays in patching might create significant opportunities for attackers. There is need to adhere to the vendor recommendations. Oracle's strong recommendations is to stay actively supported and apply all security updates without any delays. All organizations running these e-business suites are at high risk. Even if you have applied the patches, there is need for a multi-layered security approach, which is very, very essential. This includes network segmentation, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems, and also robust endpoint security to detect and prevent exploitation when it happens. Also, there is need for proactive threat hunting using the indicators of compromise IOCs from the Oracle website, which is very, very valuable resource. Organizations should actively use these indicators to scan their networks and systems for signs of compromise, even after applying the patches. Also, organizations are required to do regular systems audits and to carry out vulnerability assessments and pen tests, and also to establish red team operations so that they continuously monitor and regularly carry out security audits of the critical systems like the Oracle e-business suites, which is necessary to identify and remediate these vulnerabilities before they can be exploited by the attackers, as we see in the recent Harvard and Wits University incidences. Also, there is need for the organizations to have incident response preparedness. Organizations must have well-defined and tested incident response plans to effectively manage and mitigate the impact of a successful cyber attack, including the steps for containment, eradication, recovery, and the post-incident analysis. So according to NIST's National Vulnerability Database, the vulnerabilities CVE 2025-61884, which was published on the 9th of October, and it had a CVSS score of 7.5, which is also regarded as high. This vulnerability explains how the attackers manipulate the Oracle Enterprise Business Suite, and this is available on the NIST NVD database. And of the most critical CVE is the CVE 2025-61882, which has got a CVSS score of 9.8, which is critical. And this happens to be the vulnerability that much of the hackers are exploiting in the cases of Harvard University and Wits University. And right now, let me take you through what happened at Harvard and Wits University. So, on the 15th of October 2025, Harvard University confirmed that it was one of the victims of the data breach stemming from the Oracle EBS Zero-Day Vulnerability CVE 2025-61882. And they claim that this is emanating from the group called Cloak Ransomware Group, which claimed responsibility, indicating that this was part of a broader campaign targeting the Oracle customers. According to their post, Harvard stated that while the investigations were going on, they believe that the incident impacts a limited number of parties associated with small administrative units. And the university applied the necessary patch after Oracle released the update and has found no evidence for further compromise. But we're still yet to hear if any information was stolen or any further damage occurred. According to Google Management, they say the Oracle CVE Zero-Day was initiated as early as the 9th of August 2025, and it took Oracle about 2 months to detect what was going on. And as you can see, This is one of the emails that was written by the Cloak ransomware group in terms of trying to solicit the extortion campaign, which involved months of intrusion in the active targeting of the EBS customer environments. The actors exploited what is believed to have been published, the zero-day CVE, and Oracle confirmed that indeed these attacks were linked to the incidences linked to the vulnerability, the published vulnerability. And like we always say, the lessons learned, this always points to the need for proactive vulnerability management. Organizations must move beyond just being reactive and patching. Instead, in advanced threat intelligence, vulnerability scanning, and penetration testing can be helpful. There is also need for rapid patch deployment. There's also need for enhanced monitoring and threat hunting. There is need for continuous monitoring of network traffic, system logs, and endpoint activity, which is very, very essential. There's also need for robust incident response planning. There's also need for improved third-party and vendor management policies. There's also need to improve in terms of vendor communication and updates, maintaining close communication with critical software vendors, like in this case Oracle, is crucial for informed and emerging threats. There's also need for employee training and awareness. There's also need for data minimization and segmentation. Organizations just need to keep that information that they really need for their day-to-day duties. There's also need to review the third-party risks management. Organizations just need to rigorously assess and manage the cybersecurity risks associated with the third-party softwares and service providers, and understand their vulnerabilities that can directly impact their organization. And still, with the Oracle zero-day data breach, on the 17th of October, Wits University of South Africa announced that their IT systems had been affected by the cyber attack. And this is the ongoing attacks in the Oracle e-business. This means the attackers continue to exploit the recently published Oracle EBS systems vulnerabilities, as we see in the article of the breach that happened at Wits University in South Africa. This clearly shows that there is no patch available at the time of the attack, despite the university saying that it's working closely with Oracle, and besides Oracle publishing the CVE and also publishing the intermittent patch. But we can see that some of the organizations which are using Oracle EBS, they still remain vulnerable to this attack. And according to the article, the IT team at Wits, they are saying they are working with Oracle EBS, and at the moment they haven't identified if there has been any loss of data, and they are working with Oracle teams so that they can ascertain to what extent the damage has happened. So this shows a growing trend in the region, in South Africa and across Africa, where organizations increasingly become targets of cyber criminals, as evident by the recent attacks such as Netstar, Cell C, MTN, and South African Airways. So according to ESET's biannual threat report, in South Africa is the most targeted country in Africa for info stealer and ransomware attacks. This still brings us to the most critical concerns that the zero-day vulnerability exploitation is there, and the most pressing concern is that successful exploitation of a zero-day vulnerability still exists, and this type of attack particularly is very dangerous because there is no immediate defense or patch available. As we see, as much as Oracle have announced the CVE and a few patches, but it still left the systems exposed. And we're waiting for the vendor to develop a fix. There is still a concern over data compromise risk, although Wits University is still assessing the extent and compromise of the systems, but it suggests a high risk of sensitive data exposure, including personal information of students and staff and financial records and intellectual property. There is also a concern of systematic vulnerability. The fact that the attack compromised the systems in multiple countries indicates potential systematic vulnerability within universities' EBS system. There is also a concern of increased cyber threat landscape in South Africa and the region. The incident is part of a broader pattern of rising cyber attacks in South Africa and the region, suggesting that many organizations may lack adequate defense mechanisms against sophisticated threats like zero-day exploits. There's also concern over operational continuity. While the university claims normal operations, the long-term impact on trust and data integrity and potential recovery costs could be substantial, even if immediate operational disruption is minimal. And however, with the Wits cyber attack, it offers several lessons for the organizations. There is need for proactive threat intelligence. Organizations must invest in advanced threat intelligence to anticipate and prepare for emerging threats, including the zero-day vulnerabilities, and rather than solely relying on reactive patching. Organizations also need to invest in robust incident response plans. A well-defined and frequently tested incident response plan is essential for minimizing damage during any cyber attack. There's also need to invest in multi-layered security approach. Relying on a single security measure, for example, just relying on an antivirus or firewalls, is clearly insufficient. A multi-layered defense strategy, including intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems, endpoint detection and response, and also security information and event management, SIM solutions is also critical. There's also need for improved vendor collaboration and patch management. Close collaboration with software vendors like Oracle in this case is vital for receiving timely updates and patches. Organizations must also have efficient patch management processes to deploy these fixes rapidly. There's huge need for improved employee training and awareness programs, data backup and recovery. Comprehensive data backup recovery strategies are paramount to ensure business continuity in the case of systems going down. There is also need for regulatory compliance and communication. There is need for to promptly notify relevant regulatory bodies. This is the information regulator, and transparently communicating with all the affected stakeholders. There is need for continuous monitoring and auditing. This is, however, implementing continuous monitoring of the IT systems and the regular security audits that can help detect unusual activities and vulnerabilities way before they are exploited by the attacker. This incident is a call to action for continuous vigilance and investment in advanced security system measures, and also fostering a culture of cybersecurity awareness. Let's learn from these events to build a more resilient digital infrastructure. And until again we meet again tomorrow as we discuss again another day, another data breach, stay safe and stay secure. Cheers.